What is going on YouTube? So this is gonna be a pretty simple video. I've gotten asked a bunch of times in the comments, like, people want to see more or less my toolbox and how, like, what I use as far as doing a lot of these swaps and stuff. And to be honest, guys, you never believe just how simple my setup is. It's not anywhere like I want it to be. So I am going to be doing some changes in the future, hopefully really soon. But when I do those changes, I will show you guys more of a toolbox setup. But this video, I really wanted to keep it simple and show you guys kind of some of my favorite products that I've bought from Harbor Freight, and go over a little bit why I did get them. And I do have one or two that I'm gonna tell you about in case you haven't bought one to stay away from. Harbor Freight is definitely a go-to place for a lot of automotive guys, and pretty much like a lot of guys in general that's doing anything around the house. Harbor Freight has a lot of things that can help us out. Now, they get a bad reputation for the amount of cheap products and the amount of stuff that just breaks really easily, and just it's not of quality. And I've been through that a few times, but firsthand, man, for the price, what I'm paying for stuff, I really don't complain at all. And they offer warranties like that, you could just swap the product out for free, no questions asked. But I never get it because a lot of times, man, the product will last well over a year, and a lot of the stuff I have here on the table I've had well over 4 or 5 years, and they have no issues really. And like I said, I'm gonna go over everything, kind of give y'all a little bit of a backstory on each item and what, how I like it. Maybe we'll do a little rating system to kind of grade things out. But yeah, let's keep it simple. We're gonna go ahead and jump into it. So guys, let's start off on a good note here. This thing right here, this is the 3/8 drive Impact. They're not brushless, this one isn't, but this thing I've had for about 5 years, and it's working like mint. This thing works awesome for a lot of jobs on cars, especially like taking fender bolts out or radiator bolts and stuff, like anything I say up to 12 mil, it'll pop off no problems. Depending on what 17 it is, it may get it, it may struggle, but it could be because this thing is wearing out and I just refuse to let it die. The only thing that this thing does now that it didn't do when it was new is the little ring piece here that kind of hold the sockets in. It's done got so played out that a socket will not stay, like when you hold it this way, it kind of fall off the end. But other than that, man, no complaints. Like I said, it still fully functions, all the lights work, no problems, and I've had it for over 5 years. So out of 10, I'm gonna give this one a solid 9. Side note, this is why I say a solid 9. Like I bought another one, they were on sale, where you actually buy a 5 amp hour battery and you could pick a free tool, and this was one of my free tools. I just liked it so much I had to get a second one. So yeah, again, solid 9 out of 10. Next we have this Braun light, and before I even jump into talking about it, I just want to give my boy Young Static a huge shout out. Big shout out to bro. If you're a Honda guy, you know who I'm talking about. But he really turned me on to these things. I was looking at a couple of his videos and he had showed the product several times and talked about how much he liked them, and I finally had pulled the trigger probably at least 3 years ago and bought me one. This is the only one I have, and it's been like absolutely mint, man. It still works great. All the dimming and the little pin light on the top works fine. It still got the swivel. I've dropped this thing thousands of times and it just keeps on going, man. I cannot complain about it at all. I think these are about 30 bucks. But they definitely are worth it. And side note, guys, one of my favorite things to buy for my shop is rechargeable lights. Like any type of rechargeable work light. It could be Walmart brand, it could be like, I don't know if y'all know Roses like that where you're from, but it could be a Roses brand light. I don't even care, man. Ollie's, whoever has one, I will get it if it says it's chargeable, just because it's just so much more convenient than trying to get batteries for like little pin lights and stuff. If it's not rechargeable, chances are I would not buy it. Case in point right here, this light right here is I think it's a tough, yeah, hyper tough. This one came from Walmart. Great light. It's kind of built like the old style ones. It's got the magnet in the back with a hook. Great light. And this one here is a hyper tough as well. You know, does all of the functions. Got a little light on the end. Works great. Magnets. And again, chargeable lights. I just cannot stress enough. It's chargeable. I will buy it. So as far as this light goes, as on a scale of 1 to 10, I would probably rate this thing a solid 8, 9. I do think my battery is starting to show a weakness, like it does die after about 2 hours or so. Now, I feel like it went longer before, but I don't really notice it because, again, I do have multiple lights, and I try not to leave it on if I'm not literally using it. So definitely recommend you pick one of these up from Harbor Freight. They work great. Next, we have a combination set of wrenches. I do a lot more with metric stuff, so I'm always keeping 10 mils on deck, and 12s, 10s, 14s, stuff like that. I like to keep that stuff on deck because I do most of my work on Hondas, so that's kind of what I keep in stock. But guys, these sets, man, a lot of times you can catch them so like $7 for a set or something like that. And like you see, this set is brand new. I've never opened it. These things work great, guys. I've never had an issue, man. I can hammer on them. Sometimes I use a hammer to knock a bolt loose or something. Works great. Pry bars, all that. I mean, these things are pretty tough, so I've never had a problem. I would give these a solid 8 out of 10 as well, man. It's just the value, guys. This is value right here, man. A set of these for $7 is just unbeatable, man. So yeah, definitely a good purchase. Now for this one, I'm gonna tell you guys, if you're thinking about getting this and thinking you're gonna be breaking lug nuts loose and doing like crank pulley bolts and stuff, this is not your guy really for that stuff. It will get lug nuts, but it's a fight, man. It's kind of a big bulky unit for nothing. I think when I bought this, it was like this might have been $200 when I bought it, and I just do not feel like it was worth it. Again, this thing I've had for about 5 years, the same as the first little 3/8 one I got, but you would think with this being a 1/2-inch drive, it would just be a lot stronger, and it is not, man. So what I ended up having to do as far as this unit goes is I just replaced it with this big boy right here, the Cobalt brushless 24 volt. This baby right here will break bolts like no problem. Like, I mean, when I say break, not break loose, I mean it will snap bolts off, no issues. Ratchet, electric ratchet for a really good price. I think it was around $300 or something like that. Batteries, everything, chargers, all that for like it was a sale at Lowe's. So this is pretty much what I replaced the 1/2-inch drive from Harbor Freight with, and I haven't had any issues. So what would I rate this thing? Definitely a 0 out of 10. Would not recommend. And since we're on that subject of big impacts, this is my OG set of Pittsburgh impact sockets. I bought these when I got the shop built, which was 5 years, 6 years ago, whatever. I'm getting confused on my times, but probably 6 years now, and I've had this same set forever. I do have the other 2 sockets, one of which you saw on the impact a minute ago. But guys, these things have been nothing but good to me. I haven't had any slips, any issues with them, and they just work, man. These things are sturdy, and I would say out of 10, I would rate them a solid 8 or 9. I don't think you're gonna get a set of impacts. You gotta remember, impact sockets are a lot more expensive, and I just don't think you're gonna get a set of impacts this cheap anywhere else that's gonna last like this. And again, you can get warranties on some of this stuff. If you would like, to get it replaced after a couple times, you can. But yeah, this is the OG set, and they still work flawlessly. This is less likely to strip your bolt out than like a regular chrome socket would be on an impact. So definitely recommend. Now, if you're new to the channel, then you may or may not know that I am a bass head. So I oftentimes use multimeters for a lot of things, man. And even if you're not a bass head, this definitely comes in handy when you're trying to check battery voltage or check to see what's getting voltage and what ain't, stuff like that. These things are really nifty. I just got this unit probably maybe 3 weeks ago, something like that, 2-3 weeks. So I haven't really put it through the ringer, but it does. This blue piece is like a rubber like cover that goes over it, really nice. This is definitely an upgrade. The first one I had was like that free red one you get from Harbor Freight. We used to get it for free. I had that thing for like 4 years and it just never let me down, man. But the ends broke all off and I didn't want to buy just the ends. I just went on an upgrade. It got me a little nicer one. But yeah, definitely a great product. I think this thing was about $20 or something like that. Not too expensive, and these things, man, will save your life a lot of times when you're trying to find non-wiring issues and stuff. They make better ones than this as well, but this just suits my needs, man. I like the simplicity of it, and you know, it just works. So, but yeah, definitely I would give this a solid, depending on usage, I would give it a solid 7 or 8, just because you may not use it all the time, but when you need it, it's just something good to have there. So yeah, definitely that is Syntec, which is the Harbor Freight brand, and yeah, definitely works great. So let's talk about something else not to buy. Here we go, boys. Do not buy one of these angle grinders, man. The battery operated ones, do not buy them. You hear me? Because it works. I use it sometimes, but the thing I hate about it, man, this thing literally stops the minute you start putting pressure into whatever you're cutting. Like you start like applying too much pressure where the motor's working kind of hard, and it just like cuts out. I think it's like a safety feature or something, and it's just annoying as fuck. Like when you're trying to, if you got some light grinding to do, great. I cut a bumper up with this before. It did okay. The bumper is, you know, plastic or whatever, but you still have to be really careful with how much pressure you apply, because this thing will just stop, and then you gotta turn the switch off and cut it back on, and it'll come back on. It gets annoying sometimes when you're doing bigger jobs, but this was one of my tools I got for free when I bought a 5 amp hour battery. I just picked one of these because I was one of the grinder that operated by battery, just in case you're like at the junkyard or something and need to cut something out your way or whatever. It's just nice to have stuff like this, but this, I don't recommend being that one that you get. Now, if you did get one like me for free, then it is what it is. You make use of it. But I would say out of 10, because it was free, I would give it a solid 6 or 7. If you're buying it, probably like a 2. I would not recommend you buy one of these just outright. But if you catch that deal like I did and get one free, it wouldn't be a bad thing to have laying around. Next, we got some assorted clips, guys. Now, what I am gonna do with the clips, I'm gonna include block off, vacuum block offs, worm clamps, fuses, all types of little stuff like this. I'm gonna put all that in the same category. I mean, heat, shrink, all type of stuff, man. Little stuff like that, man, no name brand does not matter. Like, it works the same way. I've used these for bumpers. I've used them for like putting grills back in, or like the fender linings. I've used these little clips for some of everything, and they really come in clutch. Interior panels, all type of stuff, man. And like I said, it's a giant assortment in there for not so much price. You can also get stuff like this off Amazon, but it's just nice to be able to look at them in person before you buy, so you kind of know more about what you're getting. But again, guys, everything from these to like vacuum block off, the little nipples you can get, these are all, I would say, a 9 or 10 out of 10, just because the usefulness and the pricing, it's just unbeatable, man. Definitely worth having. You can just swap a clip out, keep it moving. Next, we're looking at these swivel adapters, guys. These things are not the best made, I guess you could say, but they have saved me in so many situations where I could not get a straight socket on. They will come in clutch, and they are not bad for the price. Now, if you don't like the double jointed ones like this, they do have the nicer, like the ones that kind of lean any direction. I forget what they're called, but they do have an Icon brand that sells those. They're a little bit more expensive, but I've had these, man, for probably 3-4 years, and I've never broken one. I do need to try to make sure these screws are tight from time to time, but other than that, they've been great, man. And like I said, I've had them for at least 3-4 years, and really just, I haven't had an issue. None have broken on me. I've used impacts on them, everything, and they just keep working. So definitely, I would give these a solid 8 out of 10, man. They work, they're cheap, and again, just one of those things, man. You get in those tight spots, these things can help save you, man, and get your boat out or get whatever took off that you're trying to get done. These work, so definitely something to get, man. 8 out of 10 for sure. And I'm gonna close this video out, guys, with these little knives, man. And I don't know how many of you guys go to Harbor Freight. I'm sure a lot of you watching do. But these things are almost always sitting right at the counter, and they're like 99 cents. And I just, man, I probably got, I don't know, 50 of these in my toolbox. Like, I just love them, man. Anytime you gotta cut boxes open, or you might need to trim something, or whatever you gotta do, man, these little babies right here come in clutch. Definitely a 10 out of 10. So guys, with that being said, I'm gonna wrap this video up right here, man. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I hope you found some of this interesting, or you enjoyed the insight on some of the stuff that I do use on my day-to-day basis. I am big on buying stuff from Harbor Freight. So what I would like for you to do in the comments down below, drop 5 of your favorite products from Harbor Freight. Drop them in the comments down below and let me know what you guys enjoy to use in your shops. Another side note, this fucking engine crane, guys, is fucking minty. Bought that thing about 6 years ago from Harbor Freight. Has never let me down. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below, guys, what are 5 of your favorite things to get or that you've bought from Harbor Freight? And if you won't, let me know what 5 are your worst favorite things, or like least favorite things that you bought down below, man, because I'm interested. I hope you guys interact and get to it in the comments, because I do want to read some funny stuff and see your take on everything Harbor Freight has. So drop your comments and thoughts down below. As always, guys, remember, respect our bills. I will catch y'all later. Peace out.